So ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I want to welcome the main event of the evening, the man you all came to see, without a single compare in the industry, charting out a lane of his own. Ladies and gentlemen, make the most noise that you have made this evening for the one, the only, Lyre. Please take your throne out, my guy. Appreciate you. So let's get into the music, please.
Tell me stories of your past, your present and your future like. Ever need you, switch it to the heart when it broke up too hard. Nobody ever told you, not every kind of love's gonna last. Power cuts in the studio, sitting in the dark makes you think. How often do you end up on a break? How low did you sink? But you see, I took it on the chin, headstrong like Cassius. I sting like a bee so they can't harass us. It's left, right, left, now they can't get past us. I hope the kids are gonna try surpass us. Let's set the bar so high, make it cut through the sky all the way to the edge of the universe. This thing will gonna shock them. They don't know what to do with us. Yeah. I never not bounce back from my loss. I'm proud and I'm very pompous. Like a dragon on the mic, it they shock me. Say the hard drive never come bust. And I know that the maker must love me, cause the pain won't throw me off course. I'm a shorty in the front, is a rider. Gonna love me in the Benz or a bus. Time go tell who go last. Now who go last. You dey waiting for helper. Belle in your mouse morale. Don't let them block your ego. Magic go shele kuta. For this jungle we dey so. Now who go? She look for me, just she say where you been, boy I was gon' fight. She said take me to Coco, be there with the water clean and the box don't bite. Wanna get it and get it right. Get me right. Also no be by power mic. Okada no be power bike. Who gon' wanna fuck me? Jelly say where you been, we about to riot. See me turn up with me, hey baby, do it go put me for autopilot. All this baby like on me tight. Yeah, get me right. Also no be by power mic. Okada no be power bike. It's like when Igbo girls suck me up. The only protection is God. And some men that I've never posted on the gram, only posted on the blog. The difference is baggy, Shokoto and Teams. No combo look better than Mojo and Team. On paper or not, even Choco and Lim. They learn better do wood than Dodo and Beans. Crocodile they bomb the West, I'm Mojo. Now the US Marine they bomb the West, I don't go. If them more than once they serve, they never start to get keep. When we they jump the fence, I don't go. Kill like a fish, how much you pay? I go pay like my dream. Now everyone of my G's. Cause we don't they do leg work before they start to dance as on top. I know if you get dialogue, then she might with the reason life like side that boss. You get the things way, money no if you buy na God. If you carry me for mine, that's suicidal thoughts. Cause show me never me, I see the UC. Like I'm in Ghana, see they tell me I'm on school fees. I hear say nobody watch more about the final bro. No be final boss, stop I be na final boss. Some they fly golos, me I only fly first class.
What? First class?
As the high science student, cause economy and business no be science class. Ghana or Canada, I know they blow such trees. I go carry phone if I want they blow countries. You know if you find me where they blow Scotland, I know they go Scotland, and they go Scot free. Don't be going around telling people that you wanna be the best. If you can't even say that shit with your chest, they're gonna patronize you and call you respect. I won't go over wise, I be kilo expect. Now you're starting to panic because you've been trying your best. And the drugs in your palate are making you feel like the rest. Bagging under your eyes, it's looking like you need the rest. Probably that you could quit while you're ahead. But the show goes on, uninterrupted. Walking with your head held high while looking dropped it. Gorgeous, house gon' crack, cause when you pop them, they begin to wonder why your ego so enormous. Oja boko for, ojo na kuku. Ongolo lo was, no. Omo mi shoko yokoto, slogo do. Idi rabata, ito bokoto, yeah.
Yeah, I see the signs. Moving for the love, for you realize. Yeah, mastery this guy.
Make some noise. Let's make sure that's paused, because that's side A. Please make some noise once again for Joyce, all our ladies.
Yes, please. Incredible.
Every time I listen to her, like an audio massage, man, bro, just my ears just chill out. And also, like, can we just get attention to the middle of the room, because this part is conversational, so we just need people to, like, you know, be focused. So the first thing that I want to get into, and it's been killing me all day, that title, man, like, because it feels like your projects always have, like the titles always have a story behind them.
Yes.
On one, you told us to worry less. I think you were talking to yourself as well.
Yeah.
On Master, it was like more about mastery and self-confidence. And now this one is Spiral. Are you spiraling?
I had this conversation with one of my close friends, and he was telling me very, very adamant, like a spiral is a bad thing, bro. Like,
Okay.
a spiral is a downward spiral. You cannot convince me otherwise.
Yeah.
I've been through so much in the past 2 years since making this album. I feel like as an artist, you have a responsibility to present your experiences and what you learned and all that into what you're doing, into your art. And then I think I felt at some point I did feel like I was spiraling out of control. Maybe I'll be completely honest with everybody here.
Yeah.
But I think as humans, we all have these moments where it feels like things are maybe a bit out of control, but it's about finding that balance, and it's about, kind of, even if you unravel as a person, it's like you're relearning things about yourself, and you're finding new ways to be better and to evolve. And that's what the project is kind of about.
Fair. Did they also have like some significance with the golden spiral as well? 'Cause I was looking at that.
Yes. I mean, I when I had the idea for the name, I was trying to just research if there was anything similar out there. Thankfully, there was nobody that had the idea for that name. So I was very happy. But I also realized the spiral is like a very prominent feature in like nature and in math. Like so many. I had no idea.
Yeah,
So,
like symmetry in nature.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So there's something called the golden spiral itself, which is found in like so many things, like leaves and like
Tornadoes.
in the universe itself. Like it's an actual feature of our existence as human beings.
Yeah.
So I think that was also significant for me.
Fair.
Yeah.
So I think another thing I want to get into, so I would say your music was notably chill from about like, worry less. Then it got a bit more braggadocious on, Master. And you kind of spoke to that being like you wanted to make the most self-confident version of your music with Master. So I'm wondering with this project, what was your mindset going in?
My mindset for this was really to just be as expansive as I could be, because like I said, it's a side A, side B thing. So, and I felt like I had a lot to say as well. So I needed to find the most sensible and compact way to present all my thoughts, because I feel like I can be a scatterbrain at times. I think a lot into code Belash, but I think past super many people with here. So like I figured I just needed the best way to present my thoughts, and I think I did a good enough job with what is on the album.
Definitely. So I'm wondering, was it one of those things where the vision came first, or did you start to put the puzzle pieces down and then eventually just found them fitting afterwards?
I think I definitely started recording music before I had the idea for it.
Okay.
I think that happens with a lot of my projects anyways. I need to kind of feel it out. I need to see what is happening in my own head, and the world around me as well. But I think I definitely recorded a few songs before I found like a good direction. I'm like, okay, this is good.
Yeah. So the meaning found you.
Yes.
But even just expanding on that, was there like any specific moment, conversation, a passage of time where it was like, okay, this is what we're doing?
Yes, definitely. I think I was speaking to my sister recently as well. It was after I released my first album, Worryless. I think just the process of, I guess, maybe my music being exposed to more ears and more eyes as well. I think it took a while for me to fully, acclimatize to the newfound notoriety.
Fair.
But I'm a very chill person. I'm like an introvert as well. My friends know me. My friends go out and they go sleep, but a lot of the time I'm the one that like I'm not anywhere. So like I think over time I think I'm trying to come out of my shell a bit more, and I think the biggest difference for me right now as a person, like as an artist, is since that Worryless, for example, is that I think I'm like a lot more out of myself than I was then. And I think that's what I'm trying to like. That's why this project is so expansive as well.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to like, just show people as many sides of me as I can possibly can.
Fair. So something else that I wanted to touch on, it feels like there's just a lot of references to space on the album. There's the monologue at the end of the intro talking about, the flights of rocket ships. There's a whole song called Rocket Ship. And then you talk about wanting to go to space to escape negative emotions. Even on the outro, we hear a rocket ship blasting off or about to blast off. And even just like, the spiral as well is kind of intergalactic on the cover. So I just want to say, like, what is it about space and why did it show up so prominently on this project?
I don't know, I'm someone that stays off into the distance a lot. So maybe I'm just like differently fascinated by whatever is out there.
Interesting.
But also, I don't know, I think just over like growing up, I've always been into like sci-fi and those sorts of things. So I think naturally my creative brain just kind of goes there anyways.
Yeah.
But I genuinely believe you're not alone. So do what you will with that information.
Fair. So in addition to the space references, I would say another thing that kind of stuck out to me was it feels like the album is just perpetually in motion. Perpetually, like you're constantly searching for new frontiers. On Rocket Ship, we spoke about wanting to go to space. On Glory Bound, is heading towards glory and just like ambition. On NYE, it's wanting to be seen everywhere. And even the approaches to the love songs as well. Like, I don't think any of the love songs are settled. Like, and I was gonna get into that because, like, I don't think there's a single love song that's just like, you're my babe, we're together, we're vibing, everything is okay, I'll do better, or you're vexing for me, or you get. So I was just wondering, like, first and foremost, what's chasing you? That's what I want. What's chasing you? But on a more serious note, like, why was that constant sense of motion intentional? Like that feeling of always chasing after something you didn't have.
Yes. Into a lot of those things you said. I live in Lagos. For anybody who lives in this Lagos, it's very like fast paced.
Yes.
And so I feel like my mind is just constantly moving at breakneck speed anyways. So I think I tried to slow down, especially in the first half of the album. I tried to slow down the tempo of the songs and maybe talk about things a bit more in depth in the second half. But I think, like you said, there's in life in general, it's kind of buzz boost like that. So, I think you shouldn't, if you're listening to music is like the soundtrack to your life. So I want you to feel like music can literally play to any single situation in life. That's how I try to approach making any projects.
Fair. Awesome. So I want to zoom into the music just a bit, and specifically starting with my favorite song, Ski. So that song has two very distinct sides, right? There's the side A, which is like the piano ballad, the grand vocals, the harmonies, and then side B has that Caribbean bounce, very dancey, very chill, very dance floor ready. First question I think is, which side came first?
Oof, that was a tough question because I feel like I was bouncing between.
Interesting.
Both sides.
Okay, so what was the original?
First song, I can tell you the first song I recorded was Rocket Ship.
Okay.
And then I did maybe Story Time. So maybe Soul side A, songs came first. But then after that, I'm pretty sure I recorded like
specifically Ski. What parts of it came first? Like what parts?
Okay, so you see with Ski, I always wanted to do one of those like 2-part songs.
Okay.
I was like, I'm definitely going to do it on this album. And I had the idea in my mind. I was like, okay, the first half is going to be like very Boyz II Men based R&B.
You're
I
showing
didn't know exactly how. I didn't know exactly how I was going to do it, but then I knew the second half was going to be like a more dancehall thing. Okay. And then I think I sat on the first half for like a good couple months before I found where to take it.
What was the challenge specifically?
Just finding the right way to transition. That was the main thing. Because at the end of the day, I ended up keeping it very simple. Just that. Just
that was crazy.
So I think that was like the trickiest part. Once I found that transition, I knew exactly what to do in the next part.
And conceptually, so what came first? Was it the sonics or the emotion or the words?
I had a lot of the lyrics actually.
Okay, so I had,
Which doesn't usually happen for me. A lot of the time I'm a studio writer and I'm a producer, like you said. So a lot of the time I'm like making beats and it's like after I heard the sounds, I get ideas for lyrics and melodies and things like that. But this song in particular, I had a lot of the lyrics for that first half, especially written down.
Yeah.
Because I had the idea for the song already.
Yeah, fair. Fair. Are there any, this is actually just a fan question, are there any two side songs that like you look to and it's like those are the kinds? Because I think of like a Frank Ocean who has a shit ton of those.
Yeah, like
so that kind
I think it's a lot of those types of artists like Frank Ocean, Ken.
Yeah, fair.
I have like all these like two-part songs.
Fair.
Yes.
Fair. Now you executed like hell.
Lyre spin. I said that's the Lyre spin.
Fair. Another song that I want to get into on the project is Bellagio.
Yes.
So very hard trap record. I was listening to that for the first time a couple days ago. And as I was bumping, I was vibing, I'm just like, God, please, let Mojo be on this song. Because I didn't look at the track listing. It's like, God, I'm big. And then Mojo was on the song because God loves me. His opening line on the song is nuts. Like, I wish he didn't leave the room so he can pay for his crime. On that song, he says, it's like when, literally the first thing he says, it's like when evil girls suck me off. Only protection is God. I'm just like, what does that mean? It's provocative, it gets the people going, but what does it mean? You know, but I think first and foremost, we'll get into the actual. So what was your reaction when you heard that?
I was just like, only Mojo can say some shit like that. You know, but that I think it's not just the shock value, it's actually one of the most intelligent rappers.
Oh, easy.
The way he like puts bars and just like schemes together.
Yeah.
I'm very lucky to get to work with people like this.
Do you even react to things like that?
Bro, at this point, I'm not even surprised anymore. I just know he's going to do some crazy shit. But yeah, that's good.
On the record, he says, he has a couple killer lines outside of that one. He says, you know, since Baggy Shogoto and Tim's, no combo looks better than Mojo and Tim. You know, and it just speaks to kind of like the chemistry that you guys have. You worked together for a while. And I don't know that I've ever really heard where that relationship began. Like, how did that relationship originate?
We went to the same A-levels.
Oh, okay.
So I've known Mojo for a good, I would say over half of my life at this point. So we've been close friends even before we started making music together. So it's like, I would say this probably artists I make music with the easiest because we bounce off each other. We know each other's tendencies. Like we learned how to make music together. Essentially. So
Fair. I'm curious about other collabs. So were there any collabs on the projects that maybe surprised you or caught you off guard? So maybe you had a vision for a record and then somebody came in and brought a different energy that just flipped everything on its head.
I would say probably Pot of Gold, which is the first track on the side B. It's featuring Joshua Baraka, he's a Ugandan artist. I met him in London at some point last year. I wasn't really sure how the session would go, to be honest, but like he's probably one of the most musical, when I say musical, like he has knowledge of like music theory and instruments and like production and all these things. So he had all these good ideas for like, not just production on the song, but like vocal production and all these things. So I was very, just impressed and happy with the inputs.
Did you feel like you learned?
Oh yeah, definitely. Like I think I learned, especially that vocal production I was saying, like just the way he approached certain things. I feel like
another question about collabs. What was the most, I would say, eventful collaboration on the project? And not really like in a bad way, just the one where maybe there might be an interesting story behind it that the average person might not be privy to. And if you need time, we can skip and then we can come back to that one.
Maybe we'll come back to that.
Okay, cool. So still on collabs, because I don't know, I'm very fascinated about this. When you're working with someone, what are the signs that it's working? You know, is it like, I don't know, are you laughing? Can you just, I don't know, like what is the synergy that happens that you know, like, this is going to be a banger?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of artists go based off of energy, really. So it's like, once you meet a person, I feel like you can kind of tell how it's going to go.
Yeah.
So luckily for me, I'm surrounded by artists that I genuinely enjoy their music and I get to work with them.
Yeah.
And so it's like I think, like I said, it's mostly just based off that energy, that first initial, like if you connect with the person,
Yeah.
I think it's easy to make music. So anything you do come out.
Fair. So now I'm gonna bore into the production, and I think that'll probably be our final question for the A side, because there's like a bunch of questions for the B side as well. So the production features, I would say, some of your usual partners in crime. So there's Dari, there's Renee, of course you're producing your own stuff. But there's a new name on there that I wasn't familiar with, but shows up quite a bit, and it's Casey Freely.
Yes, shout out my boy Casey.
Okay, so talk to me about where that connection came from. Was it a DM, a mutual connect, someone play you a beat? What was it?
So Casey, we already had mutual friends actually, like artists like I had worked with that I had produced for as well. So and we met up. He doesn't even live here, he lives in London, but we met up once. I did a show in London maybe 2 years ago and he was there and we had met up and he was like, oh, let's work, that kind of thing. And so we were speaking back and forth on Twitter. Okay. And then one day he just started sending me beats. I'm like, somebody was insane beats. I recorded so many songs with him at this point now. Like I just picked a few that are on this album. I'm sure there'll still be more in the future.
Fair.
Incredible producer.
Fair. Actually, before we get into the side B, I'm curious. So, I mean, you spoke about your London show that you did a couple years ago, and I know in 2022 you said that headline show was probably your best experience performing. You did Soho House last year in 2024, and I'm wondering how that compares to 2022. Like, what was different this time? What was good? All that.
That was good. That was interesting as well because that place was, I wasn't fully aware of what I was going into, but the place was like it was like a membership club type of thing. So they had their own crowd as well as like my people that came out to sing. So like an interesting mix of people. But I think I definitely had a good time on stage, and I think it's just always glad. I'm just always happy to like connect with new people whenever I'm on stage. So yes, it was a good experience.
What song got the biggest reaction?
Ooh.
Or the reaction you like the most?
Honestly, Present always gets the best reaction when I perform. Present was my first album, more or less.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of my fans, I think that's like their favorite song for me. So
fair.
And I usually keep it to the end of my set.
Fair. Awesome. Thank you for your candidness. Now we can get into side B.
Flight and I am holding niggas hostage. TV landed in the middle of a mosh pit. Tear the roof off, this is proof of new money shit gon' make a nigga goof off. You be dealing with the same type of problems, but she only wanna talk about progress. She's on tour now, like a pop star. Diamonds dancing on a garment like a rock star. Ain't gonna ride around with no license if you gon' ride around with that thing. Ain't nobody called a baby, I high sense. Ain't nobody sounded like the boy since don't bite. Saw me now, you don't like. Can't stop me now, keep up, otherwise I think you can't keep off. No trespassing in my lungu. Hamstring gone, I feel like I'm kung fu when she's done. Battered and bruised, snatching souls, medicine out, boom boom when she's gone. I'm not that amused, can I get a loud package on booze? Use it for the multi-seasonal blues. Taking my time to let the dog loose. But you know before I who the shout more. What's your luck? I feel like I'm all I rock. Shoot the pimp, make a chop and rock. So the way make a go come, say they go blow come, say they go low come. If you like, if you try a look. If you like, if you try and look. I don't know anything else to talk about. Do my time, it no be my fault. And of course, it no be your fault. So of course, it no be my fault. And of course, it no be our loss, it no be my loss, it no be your loss. What's the reason we're fighting for? All the tension they hurting for. See my down, buckle up, easy love. To me, no matter what I do, just say the word, I will be there. Don't be afraid to lay it bare. I will be there. I will be there.
Ladies and gentlemen, make the most noise you have made this evening. Thank you. That's one of those ones you have to exhale when you're done listening.
Yeah.
I think, going back to the conversation we are having, first and foremost, is that you shredding on that song?
Yes.
My God, make some noise, make some noise. Make some noise. Multi-instrumentalist is not by name, it's by doings. It's by doings. I think I'm curious about, I don't know that I've ever heard you on that kind of record before. That's like very alt rock, almost grungy.
Yes.
Was that like you feeling like you wanted to prove a point, or the music just spoke through you?
I think it's a bit of both, to be honest. Like, I think I've always written songs like that, but I've never really found how to place them or like how to just get them out there. But in the process of making this album, I think the outro was probably the track I had the biggest like difficulty finding.
Interesting.
Because I don't know, I want my outros to always be even more meaningful like that. Every other song you heard, like I want you to like
Leave with a
feel
message.
something so deeply at the end of whatever you're listening to. So, but thankfully that song came to me on like a random Saturday morning. Bro, I woke up from sleep and that was the first thing I did in the morning. I just went into the studio, recorded that song. I had the guitar, everything. I made the song in like an hour. I was like,
In an hour?
Yes.
Wow, yeah, make some noise for that. Like, what?
This is this is it. So,
Yeah, that was an insane pocket. And I'm wondering if that's the sound that you're going to explore a bit more in the future.
I think so, yeah, definitely. Like, cause it's like you said, I'm an instrumentalist. I write a lot of songs with like my guitar, like my piano, keyboard, or whatever it is. So yeah, definitely, I think you'll see more like
Fair.
those types of ballads.
Fair. So I want to talk about, what's that song? Better with you. Better for you, my man. I apologize. Yeah, I know it's you guys, it's favorite. Don't shoot my head. Don't shoot my head. It's not easy having all this information. But yeah, I want to talk about Better for You. And the reason I wanted to get into that is more so because my Nana is an artist that I wasn't familiar with until I listened to the single. And I'm curious about the origins of that relationship because he's not a small guy. Like he's a Grammy award-winning songwriter. You know,
He's a serious guy.
so talk to me about how that relationship came about.
So it's someone I had been listening to for a while as well. Like, he's an R&B artist from South Africa. For those of you who don't know, incredible artist by the way. So I found him just randomly on my Spotify, like, because I'm always just looking for new music and like new sounds anyways. And so we had connected a while back on Instagram, but we never really like spoke or anything. But luckily for me, my neighbor was also in touch with him because they're based out of South Africa as well. So it was quite easy for them to set it up, and yeah, I sent them the song. It took him like a day to send it back. So,
Fire. He smoked that too.
Yes.
I think I want to talk about Economy now and show them. So this is the third time I believe you guys are working.
Yes.
So they'll steal something of Palm Wine. I can't remember what Palm Wine was. Palm Wine 3.
Yeah.
There was also Buga off of the record with Caveman and Tikak. And now Economy on this project. First things first, how did you get involved with them in the first place? Like, how did that happen?
It's crazy because Tech, who is like one half of Shoulder Cup, he's been one of my like earliest supporters. Like I released a project called Senpai like a couple, maybe 2-3 years ago. I don't know who is here.
5 fans in the house.
Shout out to you. But Tech found that song, that Senpai song in particular, and he hit me up on Instagram, and since then like we had been like in touch, and he used to call me around for sessions and camps and things like that. And so I think over time we have built kind of a working relationship. I think it's always just easy to make music with artists like this who just kind of get it, you know. They know what they're trying to do, and they have like a very good community and system built around them. And so yeah, I'm lucky, like, you know, they like my music so much because, you know, it's not easy to do this with your peers, let alone like people you regard as like, you know, I see them as legends as it were. So yes, I'm very lucky to get to work with them.
Yeah, I'm curious about how old that song is. How old is that song?
Well, economy.
Yeah.
No, I made it this year.
This year?
As I didn't feel bad now, so I didn't get spiritual.
Fair.
As I didn't feel bad.
Because I mean, it kind of like is in that soundscape of palm wine. Like,
yeah,
so if I listen to that beat, I imagine I would think of them, and I wondered if that was
That was exactly what happened. Like, so Casey had sent me a few beats already. Casey also is someone that wanted to work with them for a long time. So I think he had already sent me some beats with that in mind, because I told him I wanted to put them on the album anyways.
Yeah.
So he sent me some
Also, you
beats
had an
like that.
idea to have them on the project even before you had the beats. Okay.
So, and he sent me some beats, and that was just like the best one. And I had that idea, like those couple lines in the beginning, and I was just like, okay, if I can run with this, I think this is definitely like being their background, bro.
No,
They called me from the studio because that was how serious it was. The idea, I was like, yes, this is the energy I need.
Fire, very fire.
It's crazy job.
Something else that I noticed is, I think on Master was probably maybe one of the first times that you did mix your music yourself. And then also in this project, you brought in Sam Harper, who mixed Morayo and Made in Lagos. That's a big man right there. And I was wondering, why was it important to have somebody else work on the mix? Is it like, or like the mixes recently, was that like you wanting to level up the sound, or like, I don't know, was there something you felt like you didn't have that you could give to the project?
I mean, there's that element to it definitely. I think I always want to get better. But Sam also mixed my first album. I think he's, luckily for me, he's also a fan of my music. I'm so blessed that my music goes to different places, and people that I don't expect to be fans of my music are fans of my music. But yeah, so he's someone who generally like supports what I do, and I think he. I also send like my mixes as well, like ahead of time, so he kind of goes off of what's I'm trying to do. So I think we understand each other in that way. But yeah, it's like you said, he's a professional, so it's good to always have someone like that to like who can elevate things, like you said. But
yeah. So something I noticed recently, I think maybe a couple weeks ago, I was on YouTube. And I was about to watch something, an ad came up because I can't afford YouTube Premium. And I heard Ski in a Schweppes ad. So that kind of caught me off guard. So Ski sings for a Schweppes ad, and also you've had syncs on, I think it was Netflix, there was Savage Beauty, the movie. Yeah. And that actually had me curious, like, do you ever revisit your own track after a placement or like one of those syncs, and it gives you kind of like a different, interpretation of it?
Definitely, sometimes, like, I mean, I was very happy when all those things were happening. The most like significant instance of this thing you're saying is there's some called Blessing I did with Renee. It's Renee's song, but it featured Kanji. And then it was featured on they did a reboot of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Oh yeah.
The song was featured.
Bel-Air.
That was probably the most unexpected one. I was like, and I had to go watch the show to see how they placed it in the show. But it was like after that I went back and I was listening to the song a lot. But I'm happy like I get to make music and it's doing all these incredible things. But
I wonder if that ever plays into your consciousness, because I mean, an artist that I'm a fan of, in Staples, he had an entire album that he specifically made for syncs, because like these are all unconventional sounds, so people will pick it up, and it did work out that way. But I wonder with you, is it ever a situation where you're making a song and you're like, this will bang in a movie?
Sometimes I think maybe recently now I think a lot more. I think of that a bit more, but I try not to be. How would I put it? I don't want to make that like my focus or like my target. That I'm trying to make this song for a movie as a whole. But to be fair, I'm inspired by movies a lot. I'm like, just cinema in general.
Fair.
Yeah, so it's
fair.
I think it's just kind of inevitable in some way.
Fair.
But I think I'm a bit more conscious of it now.
Okay. So let's talk about the visuals for this project. Yes. I think there are about like 3 videos out now.
Yes.
Are we expecting any more?
Definitely.
Okay. Something else I wanted to ask. I'm not gonna lie, I feel like your videos have definitely leveled up this go around.
Yes.
And I was no shade to your old videos. I was just wondering, first and foremost, is it a budget thing? Was it just like more money, more funds?
It's a bit of both.
Okay.
It's a bit of a budget thing, but also like, the producer I worked with, or the director I work with rather for these videos. So we shot like these 3 videos that are out. We shot them all in the space of a day.
Oh wow.
Yeah, he's also someone who has been a fan of my music and has always said like, look, we'll find it work when it makes sense.
Yeah.
And so like even this budget we ended up giving to him is like a way smaller budget than he's usually used to, because this is like a big director as well. He works with a lot of big artists. So
And he smoked that too.
Killed. So yeah, like I said, I'm happy, you know, like the visuals came out the way they did anyway. So yeah.
So I'm curious, when I guess crafting the visuals, what felt the most important or pressing? Was it like staying true to the stories of the songs, or I guess presenting a certain image of yourself, or even both?
Yeah, so by the way, the name of the director is Chris Saunders. Shout out to Chris.
Shout out to Chris.
I think we had the first conversation we had, he told me to just listen to every song on the album and create like just one scene, like one landscape or one memory or one place that can connect each song to.
Okay.
And so like I think that helped me think about the album a lot more visually than I was in the first place. Like I think I try to visualize things anyways when I'm working on it. For artists, I don't know, for an artist like myself especially, I'm so like keyed into like process in the back. Like when I say process in the back end, I mean like production and all these things. Like, and so a lot of the time I get lost in that, and it's hard for me to like really come back and focus on the visual aspect of things. But I think working with him, I was able to, you know, really key into that. And you know, I think we spoke about what's the, you know, about the themes of the album, especially a track like Rocket Ship, for instance. I mean, it doesn't sound like it, but I was writing it from a very like lonely perspective, and so I think he tried to like, you know, portray that emotion in the video somehow. And then for all the songs, even Storytime as well, it's like a conversational type of piece, the videos. Like, you know, you can see it's me and the other artist in the song where it's like a strained relationship and it's kind of like a distant memory, and it's the way it's shot, and you know, so it was very interesting, and being able to work with somebody who had, like, you know, who could like direct me to, you know, work like that. So
You said he told you to craft a scene that all the music would live in. So I'm curious, what's the connective tissue between, I guess, Storytime and Rocket Ship and Ski? Like, what connects them?
These are all experiences I've had over time, and so it's like it is more about finding a way to, I guess, I think my thing with music is I feel like we all feel the same things as human beings in general. So it's like I don't care if you're listening to what I'm saying. Like I really want you to feel like that's my main thing. Like I could see a billion words in whatever song I'm saying, but like it's more about the feeling. I think we try to like do that in the visuals as well. And so I think that was the main thing for us, was just trying to, you know, make sure people can, you know, feel the visuals as the same way they're feeling the music. So.
Fair. So we're wrapping up. A couple questions I wanted to ask, maybe some quick ones. You've spoken about being inspired mostly by other music when you're creating your own, in addition to all the other things, movies and stuff. Well, music was one thing that I remember you honed in on. What sort of music were you listening to while you were creating this project? Or who were you listening to? What were you listening to?
So, funny, you know, I think I was just listening to a lot of rap and like old gospel music, like Ayefele. I don't know, but there was, like I grew up on like that, like old gospel music. My mom, she used to play Ayefele all the time in the car, and she was going to drop me in school every morning. So I feel like I knew that guy to like cross back to back. I don't know why, but that was like kind of thing. I just needed. I was listening to music that I could use to like decompress mostly, so like I could like create my own thing. So,
I mean, even speaking of like church stuff, like you're very active with like instrumentation in the church.
Well, to be fair, I grew up in like in a very church, like I come from a long line of like choir masters and organists, and like so it was inevitable for me to be musical in some way. Like I've been reading music since I was like 8, bro. Like I learned how to play the piano at like age 10. So it's like so Yes.
I mean, I think you people mentioned like knowing music theory as well.
Yeah.
So I've always wondered with
Within several music theory exams.
wow. So that actually brings up an interesting question because so I've heard certain artists kind of like they create at first and then they go learn some music theory and it kind of messes up their flow a bit, so they scatter and it's like going back to what I knew before. How does music theory play into like the music that you create? Does that affect it in any way? Does it improve it?
I think it improves it definitely.
Okay.
Because I think initially it was hard for me to find my own thing.
Yeah.
Because it's not so easy to come from that kind of world. Like I was a classically trained pianist as well. I was taking like grade exams, grade 5, grade 6, that kind of thing. So it's not so easy to like break out of that and like find your own thing. But I think it definitely helps because I have a deeper understanding of like chords and arrangements and like dynamics and certain aspects of music that maybe people are not so like aware of.
Fair.
So, yeah, it definitely helps.
So a couple quick fire questions. What's your current favorite song on the album?
I think maybe the outro gave it to me. Yes.
Okay.
I feel very like personal about that song. I feel like it is a message to my inner child.
Fair.
Yes.
Fair. What was the easiest song to make? What was the most difficult song to make?
To me, it was the easiest song to make because, like I said, I just woke up one morning and I think maybe God just sent it to me that morning in my dreams or something. But I woke up, I had the entire song ready, I recorded it and I had the whole thing.
Was it the last song you made?
I think it was the second. No, it was the last song actually. It was definitely the last song because I was looking for the outro.
Yeah. And what was the most difficult song to make? I feel like you might have said it, but I kind of skipped on that.
I don't know. I still want to say Wait to Me because it's just how long it took to get there.
Fair. And that's quite an interesting dilemma. What song? I mean, it's dropping almost midnight. Actually, it's gonna drop by midnight. What song are you most excited to see a reaction to?
Maybe Villaggio. Just
because I want the Mojo bars.
Yeah.
So I'm finally going to end on a question about your writing, and this one is a fanboy question completely. I'm a really big fan of your writing. I think it's just very varied, sometimes abstract, sometimes very deep and raw into the emotion. And I'm very curious about the specifics of your technique. So are you the kind of artist to go line by line, freestyle the melodies and then find the words after? Like, does it change depending on the day? What's that, especially considering this project as well?
It depends. I think there's some songs where like definitely it just all came out at once. Like I had the entire thing and the entire idea. And sometimes I like to sit on songs as well, like because I want to be able to be like, oh, this song, how has it aged over time? Like so, like I like to sit on songs and be like, I can tweak this, I can tweak this. But I think in general, my approach is, like I try to just let it flow and not think about it too much because I know how to think myself into a corner, so I try to avoid that.
Yeah. And final question of the evening, I promise, guys. When do you know when a song is done?
I don't know, that's a tough question. Because maybe when I've listened to it 100 times and I feel like I don't know how to change anything.
Yeah.
That's when I know it's done. Like this album, for example, I had so many songs on my private SoundCloud links or untitled links or whatever, and it's like I eventually cut them down. I think at some point I had 35 songs on the thing and I cut it down to 30, 28. But I think it's just for listening over time and understanding what you're trying to do as an artist. Or for me specifically, what I was trying to do with this album. And then
Awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, for the final time tonight, please make some noise for Tim Lyre.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you, my guy. Appreciate you. Well done.